explain some architectures of RAMs. You see, RAM technology. We do have DDR2, DDR3, and DDR4. If you wanted to know more about all those RAMs architectures, please go to the note or to the internet to research. Is going to describe the different. And always we have to make sure that is what I'm talking about. That is the RAM. You see, yeah, that is the RAM module. Remember, that is the RAM module must always handle it by the edges, right? Yeah, I don't know if you can see. This is DDR2 architecture, and this is DDR3 architecture. See, so you must be careful when you are selecting your RAMs and your motherboard, right? Always make sure that your RAM is compatible with your motherboard for attempting to insert the module, because all of them are not the same. If the RAM and the motherboard are incompatible, the RAM will not fit and something will end up breaking, or if you force it, always hold, as I was advising, all the RAMs module by the edges. See, if you are sure that the RAM is compatible, then make sure that you line up the notch. That is the notch. I don't know if you can see it properly. Here's the notch. See this. You see? Oh, yeah. You see, that is called notch. You see this hole, this gap. It's called notch. And on a motherboard also, you see, we do have here. Those are the memory slot, the RAM slot. See where you're gonna slot your RAMs in, right? On the memory slot also, we do have notches here. I don't know if you can see it, but there is notches here, right? If you want to slot, as I was saying, that you have to make sure that your memory are compatible with your motherboard, right? You have to identify the notches, you see? Identify the notches because of the position. Let me hold it here. And you just, you see, to slot it in softly. You press by this edge, you see it clicked. You press also this one, it also clicks. That's it, you see? Now the RAMs are slotted in the memory slot, right? And on this motherboard, I do have two memory slots here, right? This is 1 and 2. That was about the RAM. And beside that, remember, I've earlier explained about the RAM, which can be a part of BIOS and CMOS. You see, BIOS system for a basic input output system. You see, all motherboard needs BIOS to operate. BIOS is a ROM chip on the motherboard that contains a small program. You see, this program controls the communication between operating system and the hardware, right? So, BIOS, or basic input system chip, and unified, you see, unified extensible firmware interfaces chips are used to help boot the computer and manage the flow of data, right? That I'm going to explain, of data between the hard drive, video card, keyboard, mouse, and more. And then recently, the BIOS has been enhanced by UEFI, you see, which still rely on the traditional BIOS system. The difference is with UEFI, you see, the software, the security, you see, the advanced security software, you see, that to compare to protect your computers, booting, you see, encryption that the BIOS may not support, right? And the most of today's computers in the market comes with UEFI, right? But although UEFI still rely on the traditional BIOS for the system configuration and post and setup, right? And we know post stand for power on self-test, right? Means that when the computer powered on, you see, and the BIOS or the BIOS will identify which hard drive is available, which drivers are bootable, how many memories configured, and then it can be used. You see how PCIe and PCI expansion slot are configured, how certain USB, all those things, motherboard power management features, you see, are controlled by UEFI, all right? And the motherboard manufacturers save the motherboard BIOS settings in complementary metal oxide semiconductor CMOS memory chip, right? That we are calling CMOS memory chip. You see, when computer boots, the BIOS software read the configurator setting is stored in CMOS, right? To determine how configure the hardware. The hardware, remember, in the booting process, right? In the booting process, you see, after post, the CMOS have to go and then found the bootable devices. When we're gonna find the booting masters and so on, we know the process, yes, in order to load. And then remember that I was explaining that post is gonna be identify everything: your password, the time, the date, the devices connected, the cable, the databases, all those things to make sure that everything is fine. You see, and the BIOS settings are retained. The configuration they are retained by the configuration by CMOS using a battery. Means that if the battery fails, imported settings can be lost. That is what I'm explaining. This is the CMOS battery. Yeah, here's the CMOS battery. All right. As I removing mine, so I may lose all the settings. The most of settings, not all the settings, the most of the setting booting order, setting time, password, you see date may be lost, right? So that is CMOS battery. So that I have to take it back. Yeah, and the most of computers today run unified extensible firmware interfaces. All new computer comes with UEFI, which provide additional features and address security issues with legacy BIOS. You may see BIOS when booting into your settings, your BIOS settings. You see, you have to configure the same setting as the traditional, but also provide the additional settings. In case if there is something wrong, the BIOS or UEFI will give you some of the beeping sound, you see, to tell you maybe, such as the RAM. You see, if the RAM are not working or are not properly slotted in, or are not working properly, or memory parity error, is going to be beeping. It's going to be giving you too short beep, too long beep. Ping ping, ping ping, ping ping means that your BIOS, I mean your RAMs are not properly slotted or are not working properly. Let's go to motherboard chips. You see, as I was saying, that the motherboard, you're gonna find the soldered, you see, component, right? We do have the chips here, and most of them are the integrated circuit, right? That you may find in the motherboard. So I'm gonna quickly, we do have the sound integrated, we do have the VGA, and I'm gonna quickly explain about the North Bridge and the South Bridge. What it's a bit challenging to know exactly what is North Bridge, what is South Bridge. You see, as they are all integrated, you see, on the small circuit that's calling integrated circuit that we might find on the motherboard, right? And we do have the passive, you see, cooling system is here, as I was explaining earlier on. And the North Bridge, as explained on the note, that control the high speed access to RAM and the video card. You see, it also controls the speed at which the CPU communicates a component in the computer. Video capability is sometimes integrated in the North Bridge, right? And the South Bridge allow CPU to control, to communicate with the slower speed devices, including hard drive, USB, network adapter, keyboard, mouse. Those are, you may find them in there, are controlled by the South Bridge, right? So all of them, they are soldered on the motherboard. Let me quickly explain about the expansion slot. Yeah, expansion slot. As you can see, we do have I do have three here. We have the blue and the two black. I'm gonna quickly explain. Remember, we said that the expansion slot is to add more component, more expansion card. You see, in case you want to upgrade computers, or if you want to add something in computers, we're going to be using the expansion slot. Let me start by this one. It's called the PCI, which stands for Peripheral Component Interconnect. You see, it can support 32 or 60-bit expansion slot. It's currently found in new computers, in few computers, I mean. You see, and the PCI expansion slot have become mostly obsolete. You see, so most of motherboard today does not use those kind of PCI slot, right? But that is the PCI slot, and you're gonna use the PCI expansion card. Here's PCI expansion card. I've prepared one to show you. This is PCI expansion card. You see, this one is a modem, right? This is a dial-up modem. Expansion card. My computer does not have a modem, so that if I want to use modem, right, here's the expansion card. Yes, I'm gonna slot it here in PCI So your PCI expansion card. There we go. See? That is PCI expansion slot. There we go. You see? Now I do have the modem is here. Before, my computer does not have the modem. Yes, I can remove it. Here it is. You see? Under this hole, you see we do have the metal is here. If just you break one, I broke this one as I was preparing myself for this recording. Yes, it was like this. You see? And I break to have these spaces here. Right? Just to slot in. It is very easy. Just you identify the specific appropriate slot. Here's the PCI one. This is a PCI card. Just you insert it like this. There we go. And you gonna screw, yeah, you gonna screw here so that you won't move. That's it. And beside that, we do have what we are calling PCIe. PCIe Express. This PCIe Express use a serial bus that has higher throughput and many other improvements over the old expansion slot, you see. And PCIe has the different architectures, right? We do have X1, X4, X8, and X16, right? And the difference is you can identify them by the length from the shortest to the longest, you see, respectively. Yeah, so that this one is the longest and this is the 16 is one, right? This is normally because of can support the higher throughput. This one has been dedicated for the video, right? The graphic adapter. Understand? This motherboard does not have HDMI or VDI. If I want HDMI or HDMI output,